particular object, whether that be an item of clothing, whether that be a part of the body, whether that be a particular race. Yeah. Okay. And the way that I would the example I would give. So, if you're talking to someone or just people in general, you can like blonde hair, red hair, curly hair. You can like black women, white women, Spanish women. You can like blue eyes, brown eyes. You could like whatever you want. Okay. Yeah. And if someone has a preference, then I believe you can look at their exes, and they may have similar features, or they may have things that favor, but they generally do not look identical. They all look like their own person. You know, they're diverse. They're Mm-hmm. Whereas if you have someone who may have a particular fetish or like a racial fetish, when you look at their exes, they very much look like they could have come off the same family tree. Mm-hmm. They look like they could have been sisters So to me, that's how I tell the difference. If you are, a Dominican woman and you happen to look at your man's exes and you notice that every last one of them looks like you, it very well may be that he has a bit of a fetish for Dominican women. Whereas, if he just likes Spanish women, then he may very well have, he might like types. Mexican women. He might have, Dominican women, Puerto Rican women. He will have different varieties of that preference instead of very specific images.
Specific. Yeah. No. And that kind of stuff, it's funny because I've always said the same thing of like there's a difference between preference and fetish, and I especially don't like it, when certain races like to fetishize other races for different reasons, like, when black men fetishize pretty much anything but black, or when maybe white women say, oh, I only like black guys, and half the time it's just and it's just to piss off their family.
No, because they'd be like, I'm a snow bunny, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Please stop. I'm sorry. Are you about to march with us?
Because your fetish is that you want to just be with a black man.
I literally saw a video of a white girl who was like, when he is white and 6'5" and likes black women, and she was tan so goddamn dark, the bitch was darker than me. Yeah, that's crazy. Incredibly wild to me. And I would like to go on record to say that I feel like the comment you made where you feel like men tend to fetishize other women, I feel like that tends to play a part in why women always feel like they have to be in competition with each other, and that when we make eye contact, we can't be checking each other out or thinking that we're pretty or admiring. We always got to be comparing and thinking that we're better. And I feel like a lot of that tends to do with the fact that the males... Mm-hmm. like to be like, oh, she's foreign. Yeah. She's Spanish. She's Nigerian. She's foreign. She's top notch. And I feel like that right there contributes to why women always feel like they have to fight each other instead of raising each other up and cooperating.
Literally, when white men date me, they're like, oh, she's spicy. She's this and that. And I'm like, can you not?
I've had people tell me, you're the only black girl I would date.
Or, and I'm like, no. You know what? No, you want to know what my best thing I love to hear? They're like, you're the prettiest Mexican woman I've ever seen.
Oh, you mean like you're pretty for a black girl?
Yeah, you're really pretty for a Hispanic girl. And I'm like, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean? That's not a compliment.
Well, I take it offensively because I know that I don't really portray as like predominantly black in my looks. So when you say that to me, you're saying I'm the only black girl you would date because I don't.
Why can't you just call me pretty?
Yeah, exactly. It's weird and fetishy, and it does make you feel
my
like you
problem
have to
is that when you look at me and you tell me, oh, you're pretty for a black girl, you're going to sit here and tell me that all these other black women I look at on a regular basis are not beautiful? Bitch, please. I have eyeballs. Okay?
I'm not insecure enough for that to
just because I am pretty, just because I am beautiful, does not mean that the next woman that walks by me is ugly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just because I am beautiful, just because I am confident, does not mean that every other woman that comes around me is ugly.
Right. Well, I feel like they say things like that because they think that you're so insecure that if you you're the only one, you're going to take it as, oh, wow, I'm better than everyone else. But if you're actually confident, you're like, bitch, you just insulted my whole race. The
and,
fuck are you
and
talking
all the
about?
other women that you're sitting here, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. I know that. And so is she, and she, and her too.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing me any favors by calling me pretty for the color of my skin.
Right, exactly. I definitely feel that, and the whole competition. Like, there was a point in time where, you know, the person that I'm talking to now really likes Hispanic women and, like, was into that. And it got to a point where, but I realized it was, like, a certain type. So it got to a point where I felt like, you know, do I need to compete with that? Do I need to worry about, you know, that's going to be, like, a running thing? And, like, we got to a point where we, like, talked about the difference between fetish and preference, and we came to like an agreement about that and more of an understanding and whatnot. But in the beginning it was more of a worry of like, okay, so I see a pattern here, is that going to be, like you said, it makes girls feel like they have to be in competition.
Now I have to worry that I have to fight for his attention. I have to look a certain way and act a certain way to get him to make sure he's looking at me and not these other women.
And not these other women that's your type.
And meanwhile, when you look up in the mall and you see me looking at you, I'm just sitting here because I think you're beautiful, or I like your shirt, or I'm copying your shoes, or your makeup looks phenomenal. But because I might look a certain way, you're over here thinking I'm looking at your man,
girl.
And see, and I feel like that's a really big problem because of music, because of how women are always portrayed
also,
as something is better than the other.
I will say this one thing: like growing up, I swear to God, like I felt like the ugly duckling type of thing, because everyone fantasized about these blonde hair,
short little girls, ones you can pick up, and they're fun
signs. I'm over here with my dark hair, dark brown eyes, and I'm like, am I not good enough for these men? Like, am I?
I know. It's like me. For a long time, I'm very tall. I'm a tall woman, and for the longest time, it's always been these short little pocket-sized girls are always the one everybody wants to be with because I can pick them up. I can do this. They're so cute. They're like little trolls. And here I am coming in at 5'9", 5'10".
It's called
with these
Amazonian.
long ass fucking legs.
Amazonian.
I can't even wear heels without a man being like, "Oh, you need to take those off. They're too tall."
Right.
So for the longest time, I had problems, and I was like, "Well, damn, maybe I'm the ugly duckling. Maybe this is a problem." Yeah. It took a very long time for me to be like, "No, bitch, I am a model right now." Okay.
No, I'm 5'8", and every time I wear heels, I'm thinking I have to find a man that's taller than me with heels on.
And you know what's crazy? You don't, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I got mine by like a good 4 to 5 inches, and I promise you, when the heels go on, and I've got him by 6 or 7, he loves every minute of it, every fucking minute of it.
And that's good for you.
I call tall women Amazonian women. I've never thought of it as like, oh, you know, I'm short, so I've always thought tall was very like grand, very royal, very empowered. Like whenever you see like
it was ugly.
And
that's
see,
my thing.
and that's because of how
ugly.
I've always, and I did too, because it's always at the time when I was growing up, the fetish was short, fun-sized women.
Yep.
Well, fun fact.
Nobody wanted the tall, you know, Amazonian women. Now, all of a sudden, it's cool. Meg Thee Stallion came out and threw the legs on the shoulder, and now we love tall women, and we all like, oh my God.
But if you think about it, when you're growing up,
it wasn't cool.
Women grow faster than men, so men don't even get their growth spurt till later on. So I'm over here thinking like, holy fuck, I'm taller than all of these guys.
Well, for me, I realized that a lot of the time, a tall woman makes a man feel emasculated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It makes them feel less because they're shorter, instead of feeling like more because they managed to pull someone like that.
I was always on the tall woman train. I'm not on the new bandwagon because in middle school, I was definitely 4'9", and get this, my two best friends, they were the tallest girls in the school. One of them was over 6 foot, and one of them was damn near 6 foot, and then there was my little ass. And I was always walking around with them. They towered above me. But like I always told them all the time, because they were so beautiful. I would tell them all the time, like, you think you're too tall now, but you're gonna be a model. And one of them literally is
and
now.
See, that's the thing.
Like, they just would literally call me out about being so fucking tall in high school when I finally reached
they used to make
my
fun
height.
of you, call you a giraffe.
Like, yes, a giraffe. My old friend used to call me a fucking giraffe, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
that was mean. What a hater.
What the fuck? Yep.
I'm sorry you're 4'5". That doesn't have to do with my problem. That's not a problem.
I mean, but it goes both ways too, because when women are taller than men, when y'all get mad, y'all tend to like to say shit like, "Oh, You're short ass.
You want me to tell you something? That's not when I'm mad. That's just
No.
when I feel like being funny. When my man has to ask me to grab something off the shelf in the store, that's funny. I'm finna make a joke.
Yeah, that's fine, but don't
But
get
I'm not.
don't get angry with me. And
I'm
start,
not about to turn around and call him names or something because I'm mad at him. Well, that's just that's not okay.
I had a girl I was dealing with. She was a little bit taller than me, and every time she would get mad, I would hear it all, calling me all type of fucking elves and trolls and goddamn shorty.
Well, she's into that, I guess. The fuck.
I mean,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie
I
to you.
wouldn't
And
have
then one
paid it.
time she even kind of when we're talking, she kind of like bent her knees on purpose to kind of come down a little bit.
She called you a hobbit.
And I'm like, all right, you know
Damn.
what? Like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm not gonna deal with this shit because
I'm not gonna lie, that's how I was with my ex-boyfriend though.
Oh,
he was a leprechaun. He was a leprechaun, and I was much taller than him.
But I feel like it did do us some justice because of the fact that I did grow up thinking that I was ugly or less because I was taller.
Yep.
I made it a point as an adult now, when I go out and I see something I like, it is my job to tell you. Why? Because I remember growing up not feeling like I was pretty, not feeling like I was something. So now when I'm out, yeah, I'm going to tell you I like your shirt. Yeah, I'm going to tell you I like your makeup or your hair or your shoes or that you're just beautiful in general. Why? Because I can't tell you how many times I've complimented a woman and watched her walk off and she is glowing.
Yeah.
I used
glowing.
to be literally so self-conscious about wearing high heels because I was so fucking tall in them. But now, no.
And
You wear those fucking heels.
And you know, it
Any
does.
tall person.
It goes both ways though, because I
Yeah.
know women who will turn around and talk crap about a man because he's short. I know women who sit here and talk crap because he's short. I would never. Blah, blah, blah. That's your fault because I'm gonna tell you right now. Most of the time, people aren't in a happy relationship because they're too busy trying to chase after someone who fits that physical aesthetic instead of someone who treats them right.
Yeah.
And if maybe you stopped worrying about his height and his build and started worrying about how he spoke to you and how he treated
Right.
you, you wouldn't be fucking miserable now, would you?
Yeah, no, that's very true.
yeah, you got one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not like self-conscious about my height or anything, but like, you know, people say shit out of anger, but you got one time to really like be trying to play me about my height, and it's over. Fuck you.
I've never really cared about height. You know how short some girls my height will be like, oh, I need a man who's 6'1" and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, you should kind of save those guys for the taller girls anyway, because what do you need that
But that's
for?
the problem. They don't. Those guys. They don't want the taller girls. They want the
don't.
short,
They
fun-sized
don't.
ones. The
Well,
ones they can pick up and hold on their
I'm
arm and their
unique.
shoulders.
I don't like. I actually personally tried the whole super tall guy thing, and I'm different in that I genuinely can say I don't like that. Like, I want a guy to be closer in my height range, like more like, you know, I don't really want you to be more than like 5 inches tall. After that, I'm starting to feel like, I don't know, why are you that tall?
Why am I having to climb this building? I gotta climb the Empire State Building just to get a kiss.
And I want to cuddle, and I want our bodies to fit good. And if, like, you know, I'm fitting all the way, just my little ass is just taking up. I stop
Being
it. Just,
engulfed.
yeah, I want to like feel like our bodies like fit together good. You know, like. So I want a guy who's just like not that much taller than me. So I feel like my standards are pretty lax because I'm 5'4". So like, you come up to me with 5'7", I'm good. Like, what's up?
I mean,
well, let's ask,
you're right, because at the end of the day, it is about like.
let's ask the guys. V, how do you feel about it? Like, you prefer somebody taller or somebody closer to your height? Somebody shorter?
I mean, I personally don't care whether you're tall or short. You know, it's like I like what I like. If you black, cool. You white, cool. Spanish, cool.
Facts.
If you have like a bad attitude, then you're ugly to me.
Right.
Not cool. I feel that.
A little bit of attitude is okay.
Like
A
personally,
little bit.
in like middle school and high school, like girls would fetishize about me because I'm Filipino and black. And you know, it got on my nerves.
You said
Told
what?
you. It happens to men too.
You said you what?
I'm Filipino and black.
Oh.
That nigga said, "Oh."
Oh.
I feel like you could take my exes and put them next to each other, and nobody would be able to determine a type from that at all whatsoever.
Oh hell no!
Like they all are different. I have a mixed guy, a Salvadorian dude, a white girl, a black dude. Like if you put them all next to each other, it's like, girl, what do you like?
There's
Like,
nothing,
like, people
there's
are
nothing
like,
wrong
no.
with that.
I'm
because
fan. I like people. Like
Well,
you know.
Tweezy, what about you?